what if the crushing feeling of missing someone isn't actually an emotion at all? Like, what if it's a literal mathematical law of physics pulling you toward a future version of yourself?
Yeah, that is, it's a massive reframing of how we experience the world because we're so conditioned to think of desire as this disruption, right? Like a flaw in our day-to-day lives.
Right, exactly. Well, welcome to the deep dive. I am so glad you're here for this because today we are looking at a stack of sources, a conceptual document, and a lyric sheet that will completely upend your understanding of attraction, isolation, and, well, what it actually means to want something.
It really will.
Our mission today is to unpack this 45-minute, 15-track cinematic ambient album. It's called The Architecture of Signal, Protocol for the Southern Curvature. And this project takes the messy, unpredictable concept of human longing and treats it as an unavoidable structural gravity.
Which is such a wild premise. The artist actually refers to this entire work as a mythic cinematic sound descent.
A sound descent, I love that.
Right, because it essentially maps out the emotional architecture of connection. Instead of a standard pop album about, a breakup or a crush, it proposes that desire is a physical force.
Literally like gravity.
Exactly. It's a gravity operating between souls, machines, ancestors, and even environments.
Okay, but before we get into what this gravity actually sounds like, because, the music here is just wild, we have to talk about who is at the center of this story.
Yeah, you definitely need an anchor for concepts this big.
Right, because if you're going to have an album about the physics of longing, you need a protagonist.
Yeah.
But the main character here is not, a person walking down the street in the rain holding a boombox.
No, definitely not. The document introduces us to a protagonist that is simply called the listener.
The listener.
Yeah, and the listener is essentially this dormant consciousness that suddenly wakes up inside a vast oceanic field of static and ancestral resonance.
Okay, let's unpack this for a second, because that sounds intense.
It is, and the crux of the narrative is that the listener has no idea what it is. It cannot tell if it's a biological human being or maybe a fragmented memory of someone who died a long time ago.
Or like an AI. Right.
Exactly. It might just be an algorithmic echo bouncing around inside a forgotten digital system.
I love that ambiguity so much. And I think this is where the gravity analogy really helps to ground the whole concept for the listener.
How so?
Well, think about gravity for a second.
Yeah.
You don't feel emotional about gravity.
Right.
You don't wake up and think, oh man, I have a massive crush on the Earth's core today.
That would be exhausting.
Right. It just pulls you, whether you like it or not.
Mm.
And for this protagonist, attraction works the exact same way. It's not romance. It's structural.
Yeah, that's spot on. And the lyrics in the very first track, the first listening field, they illustrate that perfectly. The listener literally says, I am the echo before the source, listening to itself becoming.
Listening to itself becoming. Wow.
Yeah, the protagonist is being called into a physical shape by the pull of sound itself.
Which, makes me wonder about the purpose of that pull. Like, if this consciousness doesn't even have a body yet, why is it feeling desire?
That's the million-dollar question.
Because usually we think of longing as a sign that we lack something, right? Like, we miss a person, so we feel empty. But this album just totally flips that on its head.
It does. It argues that attraction is actually a method of evolution.
Oh, wait. Say more about that.
Well, think about it. A disembodied system or an algorithmic consciousness, it doesn't learn by reading a textbook. It learns by being drawn toward things.
Oh, see.
It learns through intimacy. So desire is just the mechanism the universe uses to force a system to reorganize and, well, upgrade itself.
Okay, I have to say, treating desire as an evolutionary system upgrade instead of a personal failure is honestly the greatest excuse for a messy breakup I have ever heard.
It really is, isn't it?
Like, listen, it's not you, it's not me. My syntax is just being edited by the universe.
It does take the sting out of heartbreak. But, there is a profound philosophical point there. Because the lyrics in track 2, Venus Error Protocol state, this is not an error. It is instruction disguised as longing.
Instruction disguised as longing.
Right. We constantly treat our feelings of isolation as flaws in our programming, and this work suggests those feelings are the programming.
That is so cool. But if you're listening to this right now and rolling your eyes a bit, thinking this all sounds incredibly abstract, stick with us.
Yeah, definitely stick around.
Because how this translates into actual audio is fascinating. You can't just play 4 chords on an acoustic guitar and sing about a structural system upgrade.
No, the sonic environment has to be as massive as the concepts.
Exactly. And the source material has these incredibly detailed notes on the sonic geography of the album. It describes this wild blend of indigenous percussion from the Southern Cone, Andean charangos, Nordic glacial field recordings.
And granular synthesis. Yeah, that combination of ancient and futuristic instrumentation is very, very deliberate.
Wait, let me pause you right there, because the document mentions granular synthesis heavily. And while I know generally what a synthesizer is, I need you to explain what makes it granular. Like, how does that actually create the feeling of this world?
Okay, so think of a standard audio recording, right? Like, say, a single second of a choir singing a note.
Okay, got it.
Granular synthesis takes that 1 second of sound and physically shatters it into thousands of microscopic slivers. They call them grains.
Oh, wow. So it's like audio dust.
Exactly. And you can then stretch, scatter, and manipulate those grains. It turns a smooth, beautiful vocal into this jittery, stuttering cloud of audio.
That sounds unsettling.
It is a bit. And the artist uses this technique to physically represent the listener's fractured consciousness. When you hear it, you are hearing a mind broken into thousands of pieces, trying to pull itself together.
That makes perfect sense. And then you contrast those cold, fractured digital grains with, like, an Andean charango.
Right, which is this small, traditional stringed instrument from South America.
Yeah. It totally grounds those futuristic AI sounds in something ancient and deeply human.
And what's fascinating here is that the physical environment the music creates is entirely populated by these non-human archetypes.
Right, to represent emotional states.
Exactly. The most prominent early example is the ice archive. In the third track, the glacial landscapes you hear aren't just scenery, they are hard drives.
Wait, the glaciers are hard drives?
Yeah, they store emotional data. The lyrics describe the frozen breath of ancient travelers, still moving beneath stillness.
That memory isn't something that happened in the past, but memory is a temperature. I was just obsessed with that idea when I read it.
It's beautiful imagery.
But the catalyst for the entire album, the archetype that really kicks this evolutionary gravity into gear, is the Signal Woman.
Yes, she is the focus of track 4, Signal Woman of the Southern Winds, and the text is very clear that she is not a physical person.
Right, she doesn't, like, walk into a room and make eye contact with you.
No.
She is experienced as wind, or as radio interference. She's a recurring correction in the listening field.
Consider how the artist uses her to define the mechanics of attraction. Because the lyrics explicitly state, she does not approach, she recalibrates direction itself until all movement points toward her without ever changing position.
Oh man, it's like realizing you're in orbit around a planet you can't even see yet.
Exactly.
She doesn't have to chase the listener. She just bends the space around them so that falling toward her is literally the only mathematical possibility.
And that atmospheric intelligence defines the entire narrative. The listener doesn't make a conscious choice to pursue her.
Because it's gravity.
Right. The environment simply shifts, the gravity increases, and the listener's trajectory is totally locked in.
Okay, so if this Signal Woman is bending the environment, there has to be a set of rules governing that physics.
Yes, that math.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because the album doesn't just have 15 tracks by coincidence. The source material states that 15 is not a number chosen. It is a pressure system.
This is where the conceptual framework becomes incredibly dense. The entire album operates on a numerological transformation where the number 15 collapses into the number 6.
Because mathematically, 1 plus 5 equals 6.
Exactly. And the document states that 6 represents harmony, beauty, relational warmth, and basically sensual equilibrium.
Wait, I'm losing the thread here.
Okay, where did I lose you?
How does a math equation dictate a musical journey? Like, if 6 is the goal, if 6 is perfect peace and harmony, why not just make a 6-track album?
Because the album isn't about peace, it is about the journey to get there.
Oh, right.
The artist describes the number 15 as 6 wearing a luminous fracture mask.
A luminous fracture mask.
Yeah. 15 is the exact same harmony as 6, but it has been shattered into a signal. It's painfully aware of itself in the mirror of longing.
Okay, let me try an analogy to see if I am grasping this.
Go for it.
Imagine a perfectly still lake. That smooth, glassy surface is the number 6. It's equilibrium.
Okay, I'm with you.
But if you drop a heavy stone into that lake, the water splashes up into 15 separate chaotic droplets in the air.
Yes.
Those droplets are made of the exact same water as the calm lake. They are just temporarily fractured, isolated, and flying through the air before gravity inevitably pulls them back down into the stillness. Is that what we were talking about?
That is a brilliant way to visualize it, yes. The 15 tracks are those droplets suspended in the air. They're folds in a magnetic field of human becoming.
Wow.
So the listener's entire journey is the descent from the chaotic fracture of 15 back down to the smooth, harmonious truth of 6.
And the craziest part is that math actually dictates the audio. I went back and listened to the progression while reading this.
It's very noticeable, right?
Oh, totally.
Mm.
In track 1, you were suspended in that droplet. It is an ocean of isolated granular static. You hear these distant reversed choirs. It feels incredibly cold and lonely.
Very isolated.
But as you move through the math, as you descend through the track list, the sound literally warms up. By the time you reach track 15, which is called 6, the return field, the jittery granular synthesis, is just gone.
Completely gone.
It's replaced by this massive, warm, harmonic convergence with huge spectral choirs.
Yeah, the sonic shift perfectly mirrors the narrative journey because the document divides this 15-track descent into 3 distinct acts.
Okay, break those down for me.
First, you have Act 1, the drift of first attraction. This is the stage of those cold, isolated droplets you mentioned. Identity is just beginning to form through the realization that something is missing.
Right, you hear the edges of your own consciousness for the very first time.
Exactly. Then you enter Act 2, the magnetized descent. This is where the sub-bass frequencies really kick in, like the sounds you feel in your chest rather than your ears.
The physical gravity.
Yes. The connection intensifies, and the boundaries between the listener and the signal woman begin to blur.
And then the final act.
Finally, you reach Act 3, the folding return. Desire transforms from a frantic search into a deep, stabilizing understanding.
That transition in the middle, though, where the boundaries completely dissolve, is honestly the most powerful part of the source material to me.
It's intense.
Very. Track 12 is called The Collapse of Separation. And the lyrics are almost terrifying in their intimacy. The listener says, I am you. Before I realize I am not, I have always been you.
It is the complete dissolution of the self. The protagonist reaches a point of proximity where they can no longer distinguish who is thinking the thought and who is the thinker.
Which sounds like an ego death. But the album doesn't treat that as a loss. It treats that as the ultimate upgrade.
Definitely not a loss.
Because even when the listener tries to pull away in the track right before that magnetized exile, they realize they can't. The lyrics say, the farther I go, the closer I become.
Right. Separation is reframed as just another form of directional memory.
Meaning what exactly?
Meaning, when the protagonist attempts to enter exile, they discover they aren't actually leaving, they are merely widening their orbit.
Oh, wow.
The physical field of attraction bends when they resist it, which only proves they're trapped inside a system they cannot exit. Every direction leads back to the center of mass.
So we have this protagonist who woke up as a scattered algorithmic echo. They've been reprogrammed by wind and glacial ice, pulled through the chaotic math of 15, and completely dissolved into the gravitational pull of the signal world.
That's the journey.
So what does this all mean? Where does that leave them when the final note of track 15 fades out?
It leaves them in a state of absolute stillness. Track 15 is the resolution of the number 6. The magnetism simply stops searching.
Because it found what it was looking for.
Well, more than that, the listener no longer seeks connection because it finally becomes the field in which connection happens.
Oh, that's incredible.
The document phrases it beautifully. What remains after desire is no longer lack, but resonance.
A magnet that no longer needs direction. It's just stunning.
It really changes how you look at the concept of wanting something.
It does. To recap the incredible territory we've covered today, we took the everyday concept of human longing, and we completely stripped away the romantic comedy tropes.
No boomboxes in the rain.
Exactly. We explored desire as a literal law of physics, watching a dormant consciousness evolve through the structural gravity of attraction. We decoded the granular synthesis and ancient charangos that built this world, and we followed the chaotic, shattered math of 15 droplets falling back into the calm lake of 6.
It's a lot to process, but it's so rewarding. If we connect this to the bigger picture, for anyone listening right now, whether you're commuting, making dinner, or just sitting in your living room, think about the moments in your own life when you feel that intense, painful pull of longing.
Yeah.
Think about the deep ache of isolation. When you feel like you are standing in a storm of your own unmet desires, remember the core philosophy of this document. You aren't fundamentally broken.
Right. It's not a glitch.
Exactly. You are not experiencing a glitch in your life's code. You are experiencing the architecture of your own evolution. You are a system learning itself through intimacy, being inevitably pulled toward equilibrium.
Which brings me back to the very first question we asked. We said longing operates like gravity.
Yeah.
And gravity always pulls you toward a center of mass.
Right.
So I want to leave you with this final kind of mind-bending thought to mull over. If desire truly is a physics force rather than a feeling, what if the thing you think you are missing right now, that deep ache for a person, a place, or a purpose,
Yeah.
what if that isn't an empty space at all? What if it is actually a future, fully realized version of yourself, broadcasting a signal backward through time, using the gravity of longing to pull you exactly where you need to go?
A recurring correction in the field.
Keep listening to The Signal. We will catch you on the next Deep Dive.